Hey, it was around 1 o'clock, right out in front of the Crystal Corner Bar. That's Williamson and I forget the cross street, but Crystal Corner is there. Watched the video. Luckily, there was a gentleman there, point blank with a camera, got everything. The police literally just executed this man. Yes, he had a knife. Yes, one of the officers was stabbed by said knife. But at the time this person was shot, he had been detained by the police. He had hands on him. He wasn't moving anymore. They were just about to take him to the ground when this one officer, apparently one of the officers who was stabbed, another officer was injured, but the police aren't saying whether it was from the knife or whether it was from the officer who shot. But the officer who got cut just pulls his gun out and shoots 3 times at point blank range, less than a foot away from this guy. 3 times. Apparently one of them was in the head too. That's unconfirmed, but I mean, 3 shots at point blank range. Jesus Christ. Protesters gathered at the scene. They were sitting there the whole time. They went up to the Capitol. They shut down the classical music on the square event that was going on. The head of the orchestra even came out and spoke and said, look, we're shutting it down tonight in solidarity with this man who was murdered. And he was murdered by the police. It doesn't matter. I mean, there were 4 cops on the guy. And yes, he had a knife. Yes, one of the officers was injured by said knife, but nowhere in the video do you see him actually stabbing. If anybody was hurt by the knife, it was probably incidental to them handling him while he was holding it. So another thing that I was commenting just today on another video where a person was arguing about the behavior of Madison Police Department in another incident. It was on in my Instagram, and I was like, well, you know, it'd be pretty nice if Madison Police were required, like in most other cities this size and larger, that they'd be required to wear body cams. Because as we all know, in the instance that a police department starts mandating body cams, their cost overhead for incidents and complaints goes down by over 80%. That's just a fact. That's what happens. That's what body cams do for a department. Hello. We're talking about today's shooting in Madison, Wisconsin. So that's what I had commented on that video, and then lo and behold, a couple hours later, I see that this man got shot in Madison. I commented immediately, wow, you know, it'd be nice if Madison police were mandated to wear body cams so this event could have been captured at closer range on their body cams. Because as we've seen in other shooting videos with police who have body cams on, we have a point blank view of what's happening. You don't have to, you know, get lucky that there's some bystander there with a camera to record what's happening. And even with this guy standing there, he wasn't even like 6 or 7 feet away from what happened when he was recording. You still don't see exactly everything going on. And a lot of people say, well, why don't we have body cams in Madison, Wisconsin? Most other cities this size in the United States and larger have body cam mandates. Well, weirdly enough, we have this really stupid pseudo-intellectual quasi-liberal community here in Madison made up of some of the dumbest people. People like Brenda Conkle and Alan Robinson, these really backward wannabe liberals who think they know everything and just end up draining the system in pyramid schemes. Their argument is that body cams unfairly scrutinize the public and people being detained or questioned by the police, which is completely moronic. It's just the dumbest argument you could make. But that's the argument they make. Sorry, I'm just tightening the camera here. And it just goes to show, this is, I don't have a lot of problems with liberals, not as fucked up as conservatives, but at the same time, they do a lot of things to shoot themselves in the foot, which is why it's really hard to pick sides. I'm not a joiner. As David Byrne once wrote, I'm not a joiner. I'm not a member of the Communist Party or the John Birch Society. I'm just an American. And to that end, I think we all are deep down just Americans at the end of the day. We don't want to be like Donald Trump, but then we also don't want to be like, what's a good example of a hair? No, I almost said Ayn Rand, but Ayn Rand is hardly a liberal. What's a good example of just a completely deranged liberal? Oh, Anita Sarkeesian. That is somebody you could definitely point to and say that's everything that went wrong with being too liberal. But anyway, what's going to happen now is the officer that shot is definitely going to get fired. I mean, another quasi-liberal is Satya Rhodes Conway, who's our mayor right now. She is just a deranged and rudderless leader, mainly a people pleaser who likes to just, kiss people's asses and say that she's doing her job, and she kind of does her job, but when it comes to hard issues, she just doesn't have a backbone. She doesn't speak up about anything. If anything, this will probably be the quietest response from a mayor's office ever. I mean, people are going to ask her questions, but she's going to give like the most weak-kneed responses. She'll probably say something like she feels bad about the family, the loss, and all that. She thinks the department needs reform, but she's not going to be very hard on either side of the issue. That's just how she is, unfortunately. And, that unfortunately for Madison, at least Paul Soglin, he was kind of a curmudgeon when things like this would happen. He would lash out at the public. That was a very liberal mayor right there, Paul Soglin, even though he didn't really do much for the homeless community, and he's kind of an asshole sometimes. At least he stood on issues. Satya Rhodes Conway just kind of is a super rudderless, wishy-washy kind of pseudo-intellectual, pseudo-liberal pile of shit. What'll probably happen, like the governor's race is going on right now. You'll probably see somebody like Francesca Hong making a very informed and heartfelt statement. I would like to hear what that asshole Tom Tiffany, he's the Republican running for governor right now. He's got tons of super PAC money stuffed up his ass. He's a Trump apologist. He loves Donald Trump. He's a real piece of shit. And he's running for governor with like millions and millions of dollars backing him in special interest money. I'd like to hear what he had to say about it. He's probably going to say that he supports the police and the guy deserved to die. A lot of conservatives and Republicans are probably going to say that. It's just it's sad to see it here in Madison, Wisconsin, but it's not surprising with this police department. They're always really knee-jerk. They don't have body cameras. They don't have to worry about shit. There's a Q&A that I'm not going to ask a question. I'm not going to try it. Anyway, that's about it for that. That's all I have to say about that. And might be on later with the sugar gliders tonight. Everybody have a good evening and take care.